Oh, we were so close. She actually extended an offer literally at 11:30 p.m. I get an email from the founder saying, "Hey Preston, we're canceling our agreement." Something unbelievable happened. Happy Tuesday and welcome to another video of what I do every single week as a recruiter in the technology industry. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. My name is Preston, been a professional recruiter for about 7 years now. Really appreciate you coming in, but this is where I really show as transparent as I can all the wins, all the losses, all the challenging situations we just have to overcome as a recruiter behind the scenes every single day. So coming into this week feeling absolutely fresh and energetic and really very much in a celebratory mood as we're able to finish last week with 2 massive deals, which is making May possibly an awesome month. Coming into this week, we have a possible software engineer that's moving forward to an offer. He should have synced with my recruiter at my client late last night. Haven't heard back yet. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's good news. And then for the rest of the week, we have about 7 interviews on the calendar right now, looking to probably double that as the week progresses, and syncing up again with one of my old clients tomorrow and pick up a really cool software engineering roles. And speaking of software engineering roles, we have so many open positions right now. So if you are a recruiter who does software engineers, you know a lot of people, maybe engineers in your own network, and you think that they might be open to a new job, feel free to please reach out to me. Always open to partner and collab with other great professionals and people and recruiters out there. And not to mention, I think we have one of the best referrals and splits in the industry. So if you guys want to partner up and work with us in any capacity, don't forget to reach out. But right now it is Tuesday afternoon. We got a jam-packed week coming ahead. I got a short day tomorrow, possible short day on Friday, but that's not going to slow me down, and neither should you. So if you are as excited as I am to make the next 4 days of this week, to make May awesome, to make Q2 continue to be awesome with epic momentum, please consider a like, subscribe, click that bell. It honestly really means a lot. A lot of work goes into making these videos, and it just will honestly give us the energy and the focus to make sure that every day, every week can be the best that we can. And then aside from that, we are focused, or I am focused on just sourcing a lot of engineers today in product design and marketing, and just see and look forward to all the exciting candidates I'll be speaking and meeting with throughout the week. So fingers crossed, got a couple of pending offers this week. We'll see if we can pop them. Not sure, but gonna continue to be focused and act as if we have this 0 deals. High intensity, high sense of urgency. Let's make things happen. Let's go. All right. We got some news. So I actually heard back from the recruiter at my client that she actually extended an offer to my software engineering candidate yesterday. And this guy is amazing. He's coming out of a top tier tech company out of New York, and the only reason that he responded to me and he told me that he gets hit up like 10 to 20 times a day is because my client is a company that he actually really respects and likes. And so he responded back to me. His stack, his experience is perfect. Submitted him, flew through the entire rounds, got some good positive indicators last week that things are looking good from my client. And then it seemed like, boom, they connected late last night. They extended an offer. I now have to sync up with my candidate to see what the terms of the offer is. How's he feeling? But he's not really interviewing anywhere else because he's super selective, and he only reached out to me because he likes my client and my client only. So things are looking pretty good. And I think that if he can get terms that make the most sense, then there is a pretty good chance of this closing. And right now, minimum, I think he's looking for 140, 150. So that's a pretty decent placement commission already. But if we can negotiate, that can go up a little bit higher. But not gonna get anything if this deal doesn't happen. So I need to sync up with them, see what's going on, and we'll see what happens. All right, so we synced up with my candidate, and overall he's really positive, which is absolutely fantastic. He's not interviewing anywhere else. The salary surprisingly is good enough for him, but he's a little bit confused about the RSUs and the way that my client structures their RSUs. It's across 4 years, and they put more of the weight in the last 2 years. So again, RSUs is subject to company. It can be different amounts every year, the same amount every year, or it could be allocated or split up among number of years. And so in this case, we have about 4 years split across 4 years. But instead of 25, 25, 25, 25%, I think what they're doing is like 5, 5, 40, and 40, which is like not the best for candidates who are looking to kind of cash in the first couple of years. That's a little bit odd. And also a lot of the milestones are also tied to the benchmarks being hit with the company. So, that might not even be guaranteed as well. So despite that little hiccup, he's still happy about the benefits. He's overall happy with the starting discussions of the salary where it is right now. But he might want to compensate for the weaker than expected RSUs for higher salary. And so I just got off the phone with him and I gave him my honest advice when it comes to negotiations. So like when it comes to negotiations, I think several things come to mind. Number one, you gotta be positive. You gotta be happy. Don't take it too serious. It's not supposed to be too scary. You did all the hard part already. You got an offer. The company already shows you intent that they want you. And so, it's now time to just have a casual discussion where both parties can find mutually beneficial situation and hopefully a resolution together. And then number two is be honest, be transparent, don't play games. No one wants to go through 10 rounds of negotiations, and just like really understand like what exactly do you want and just be honest with it. Number three, whatever you ask for, just back it up. So like do research on comparables, do research on Glassdoor, do research on levels of FYI, do research maybe through people and friends and family through your network. Whatever your ask is, make sure it's reasonable and then just back it up. You never want to ask for, I want 100,000, I want 200,000 and then leave it at that. That just comes off really aggressive. If you're like, hey, I want maybe 190,000 because from my research, I found that people with equivalent years experience make so much, or I have another offer that's offering me 200 and I really want to feel like I'm going a separate direction instead of a lateral move. So I just want a little bit higher. Whatever the reason, you want to provide a thoughtful and reasonable example of data and just back it up with research. And that's really, really important. And that will kind of mitigate the receiving party, the client or the hiring manager in this case, would feel like you're just being too aggressive and you just want to play a bidding war, or you're just looking for the highest offer. And number four, just make sure you can try to see things from the hiring manager's point of view. I know that if you are at the receiving end of an offer, it's very easy just to only think about your situation. But if you want to get a negotiation and you want to come out of a negotiation scenario with a positive outcome, you want to make sure it takes two to tango. There's two parties. There's another party sitting across the desk from you that you need to also appease, have a good productive discussion so that you can get your own outcome. So if you were in their shoes, how would you like to hear the argument for negotiations, and like in what way do you think would maximize your chance of finding success? And I think every company at the end of the day will always have wiggle room to negotiate. Whether or not they actually use that wiggle room or they even push it is really your delivery. So you really want to come off empathetic, considerate, positive, not too aggressive. You really want to also just make sure that you can give them an incentive to want to stretch. Like companies don't want to stretch for the sake of stretching, especially if they feel like you're not being genuine, especially if they feel like you're having a bidding war. But they will be more open-minded and more willing to stretch if they think that if they can go up 5, 10, 15K, 5 to 15%, 20% on the salary, it will help you make the decision to shut down everything else and accept. So I think it's all about the delivery, but also make sure you see in their shoes that you really can give them a good carrot at the end of the stick, a really good incentive, so that, whatever you ask for, that's backed with data, and then you set it up and you kind of share it and deliver it in a way where you genuinely convey that if they can make this happen, that the chances of you accepting or getting significantly closer to accepting their offer is closer. I think putting all those things together can definitely maximize your chance of walking away from negotiations in a more favorable outcome. So be positive, don't take it seriously, do your data, be genuine, be authentic, and most importantly, see yourself in their point of view. And hopefully, if you wrap everything up in a nice, cohesive, succinct messaging, you can come out favorable. So we'll see what happens there. I think everything looks good. He's gonna go back to my client and then try to negotiate. I'm hoping they can come up a little bit higher, because if they can, we can sign, seal, and deliver this right now, early half of the week, and that would just be awesome, because then whatever we do the rest half of the week is just cherry on top. So really, really good news. Still higher from the good news from last week. Let's try to make another good news this week, and let's make it happen. Let's go. All right, happy Thursday. This week honestly has been going by with a quick blur so far, but a couple things. Number one, we had a candidate a data science candidate that was going to finals. We were waiting for the founder to give us a decision on whether or not they wanted to move forward. Unfortunately, what happened is they just decided right now that they're not going to move forward with him because he chatted with the founder and he told them that he wanted to go back to Asia to spend time with family, and for some reason that rubbed off the founder in the wrong way, and she just thought like he just wasn't ready and he wasn't committed or excited, so they're going to pull the rug. So I'm going to still try to keep him alive and sync up with the founder to see what we can do here, but that's really not ideal because I know they were really excited about him. This is a super hard to fill position for them. It's been open for a long time, and our guy came out of nowhere, flew through the final, and then now they're rejecting him. So if it's a timing thing, I kind of feel really disappointed about that because, companies can be and should be a little bit flexible when the candidate should start. But if it's, if the timing is too long, I get that. Or if there's any other red flags in addition to that, like that would make it a little bit more palatable for me to understand exactly why they rejected. On another note though, like this same company that we're working with, the founder just texted me out of the blue saying, hey, I'm hearing from my team that you're not sending enough candidates and we want to terminate our agreement. And when I saw this, I'm like, what is going on? Because every single position that we're working has a really good pipeline. But then somehow the people that we're working with, the recruiters, the hiring managers, they're all telling her that we're not doing anything. So I don't know where this narrative is coming from. I don't know where this miscommunication is going from. But I texted her back saying, hey, can we please talk about this? Because first of all, we are working really hard. We're not doing nothing. And second of all, if you want to pull the plug at the end of the day, that's okay. That wouldn't be ideal. I'd be really disappointed. That's okay. But that would be devastating for all candidates in process with you, because a lot of them are actively interviewing. Actually, a lot of them are actively interviewing. A lot of them are also really excited. And if their interviews just stop out of the blue, that's just going to result in them having just a horrible candidate experience. And ultimately, that can increase the chances of a negative blowback back to my client. So it's like a lose-lose for everyone. Lose-lose for me, hurting my relationship with candidates, lose-lose for them, for interviewing with candidates, and then just stopping out of the blue. And so it's just the whole mess. And the thing is, this happened before, where the founder is like, Preston, I'm not seeing any candidates from you. It was a giant internal miscommunication. I was able to clarify that and move. But the fact that it happened again after I spoke with the founder last time and really kind of share with her that, hey, we are taking your position seriously. And if you have any issues, please call me. Give me the courtesy and respect and just call me so we can talk about this in case there's any confusion, because just pulling the plug and stopping searches prematurely are just going to negatively impact a lot of people, and that's just going to do no one good at all. So the fact that it happened again is a little bit of a red flag to me, because as I mentioned to you, as companies can have the power and choice to work with any recruiting agencies, we have the right to do that with the companies we work with. Just as they can be selective with who they want to partner with, we can be selective as who we want to partner with. And when you're working with someone as a client basis, we treat all relationships equally. What would constitute a very positive and productive working relationship is mutual respect with each other, and that will ensure just a really healthy long-term partnerships. And if either parties infringe on that or start compromising that, then everyone, I think any party has a right to just walk away. And so the fact that this is happening again is a red flag, despite addressing this same thing the first time. I get the founder's under a lot of pressure with investors. She needs to scale. I think she just hired her couple internal recruiters, but it's not our fault because all the positions that we are working have a pipeline. And then she's getting narrative from internal department heads that their positions have zero hope. But some of these positions I'm not even working. So I don't even know why I'm getting thrown underneath the bus for positions we're not working. So I don't know what's happening. It's like an internal circus over here. And I need to clarify this as well. Of course, I would want to do whatever I can to prevent pulling the plug on any client relationship. We do whatever we can. We're flexible with our fee. We bend over backwards. We're extremely understanding and patient to make sure everyone has a good experience. And if they don't, we can at least end on amicable terms, professional terms, with mutual respect with each other, and still, leaving that very much intact. And there's less than a number of fingers on my hand where relationships didn't end well, and relationships should never get to that point unless there's some sort of ridiculous stubbornness, miscommunication, confusion, inability or unwillingness to talk or listen. It's just an anomaly. And so with this position, with this client, we've been working with them for such a long time. We love working with them. We've done a lot of positions with them. And so on a business standpoint, it'd be not ideal, and from a profit revenue standpoint, to lose them. But at the same time, like, we also want to respect ourselves and work with people who take us seriously and respect us as well. So I'm gonna try to clarify this with them, but like, to me, like, they're kind of on watch now. Like, if they pull this again, we're gonna have to most likely walk away, because we like to take recruiting seriously, and we like to work with partners who don't like to unnecessarily disrupt the recruiting process, because a lot goes into reaching out, outreach, and selling for our clients. And then for them to just pull the plug like that just is a hard no, and a lose-lose for everyone. So not the best news. I'm just gonna have to deal with it again, but just want to share this with you. Like, this is what happens. It's not all happy and win-wins in recruiting. We sometimes have to do whatever we can to kind of manage the difficult moments with clients, and this happens quite often. But if you can learn to manage and navigate and communicate clearly and assertive, there should be a good chance to kind of end this thing with a positive outcome. So we'll see, but still got a lot of stuff to do today. One of my good friends, my Clean Tech Energy client, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you watch previous videos. Last year, we helped them do a handful of really crazy, wacky engineering positions that I don't normally work, but because we like them a lot, and we did a couple of super targeted searches, we're able to place, I think, 2 to 3 engineers last year, and we're doing it again. So yesterday, just spent a whole amount of time focused on those, and I'm going to go back to my product, software engineering, and design, hoping we can kind of luck out again here, and be really targeted and see what we can do, and if we can kind of pull a couple of the offers out of the bag. So we'll see what we can do. I do not ever encourage you to just source or take on random positions. Like, we only do this because A, I love clean tech, B, we've done this before, so I know the market, I know the candidates pretty well, and C, like, on the side, I'm doing whatever I can to learn and study as much as I can. But like, very much most of the time, most of my day and week is focused on my bread and butter positions within technology, and that's something that I would encourage you to do as well. So we're actually going to be syncing with the old client of ours in about an hour to pick up more software engineering roles. We have 2 interviews today, 2 yesterday, 4 tomorrow. So far the week is going really well with momentum. So we'll see what we can do and keep this up. Let's go. Oh my God. Something unbelievable happened. So I had a software engineer candidate that was on track of getting an offer. No obstacles, everything looked clear and slight. All he wanted was what I thought a simple negotiation. I advised them on that. Apparently they had a conversation. He asked for a higher salary, I believe 160, 170. It was a stretch for my client, but then they made it happen. They're like, yes, everything's great. And when I talked to him, he did mention, oh, like, I'm not really too happy about the RSUs. And they also mentioned that because, they're a small, fast growing team, like, the team structure could change a bit. So I might have a different manager moving forward. But then he never really told me that these were real big issues. And then after he got his negotiated salary, my client thought it was done. I thought it was done. It's closed. He would accept. Hallelujah, everyone's celebrating. But then he sends my client apparently a very scathing email and saying, I don't know why you structured your RSUs in such a way. To me, it comes off super wrong and super exploitative. Like, he actually used that word. And then he's like, I don't know also why, like, you're thinking about changing managers in the future. It seems I'm very concerned about that and my uncertainty in the future stability. He just came out really strong and started using words that you should not use during ever a recruiting hiring process. And it rubbed my client off in such a way where they just ended up deciding to pull the offer, and they just called me right now explaining the situation. And as disappointed as I am and shocked as I am in the whole situation, I am also understanding and seeing where they're coming from. They stretched for my candidate well beyond their internal levels, and everything else looked great. No red flags on their end, no red flags on my end. And even before this whole thing started, I pitched my candidate. This is a startup within a startup environment, so it's not like joining a established several hundred people big organization. It's a startup, so things change. Like, leadership can change. It's not ideal, but leadership can change. But after kind of diving into it and just getting off this phone call, it seemed like he mentioned in this email that the whole manager changing component, that happened in his current job. And he went for periods of time with different managers and periods of time with no managers. And I think that's absolutely wrong. And that's really unfortunate that he went through that. So understanding where he's coming from, that was probably more of a personal trigger. The whole salary negotiations, to me, like what he was looking for still stayed within reason of market. So that to me wasn't like a significant red flag. I was a little bit surprised that he was adamant about negotiating, because when I spoke with him, he's like, you know what? I love this opportunity so much. I'm even happy for like a lateral with no improvement in the salary. But then this whole RSU thing caught him by surprise. And yes, it's not ideal. It's over 4 years and it's really heavy on the last 2 years. Not ideal, and everyone who joins them understands this. But like then to go as a level further and then to use the words wrong and exploitative and possibly unethical, like these are just really big no-nos that you should do. While it's great that my candidate does voice his opinion, I think that's great and you should totally do that. But I think the delivery and the tone in which he did it was probably not proper, and unfortunately pushed the client into the situation where like, you know, we can't onboard someone like this. And they also told me that they just want to be able to set people up for maximum success long term at this client company. And so if any candidates join, they don't want someone to stick around for 6 months, a year or two max. They want someone to stick around for a long term, and you know, they want someone to be happy as close to being happy from the beginning of accepting an offer. And situations like these never gets easier. It still hurts, still disappointing. I think they made the right call at the end of the day. Kind of shocked that my candidate behaved in a way and communicated in a way that he did. I'm still gonna have to probably sync up with them to see like what happened, because this was in the bag and we're coming into Friday. And it would have been great to finish this week off with an offer. But I guess the silver lining though here is that they're still hiring, so we can still send them more people. They're now hiring more front-end engineers, which is great. So it's more opportunities to do more deals. But we were so close. Takeaway is that obviously until the job's done, you really want to be professional as much as possible. Even if you egregiously disagree with something, time and place to voice your opinion, especially if you really want that job. So I think it's a kind of a classic example of just shooting yourself in the foot type of thing, and really, really sad that it happened. But yeah, you just gotta shake it off, be positive, and see what the next day brings. So now my focus is continuing to give them great engineers. Now I'm gonna add front-end engineers to the pipeline and hoping we can kind of get another engineer to the offer, and this time get them to accept and get this done. But not the news that you want to hear on a 5 p.m. on a Thursday. Gonna have a little bit more work, and I'll see you tomorrow. Happy Friday morning. Starting off my day as always, drinking my good old matcha mix. Boy, oh boy, do I have an update to tell you. So, remember when I was just earlier talking about hearing that one of my ad tech clients, the founder, reached out to me saying, we're not happy, we want to terminate our agreement. And basically the next steps from that was for me to basically sync back up with the founder and just chat with her, see what's going on and like where this disconnect is coming from, where this new narrative and messaging that we're not doing anything, because every single position that we're working with, they have a pipeline. And so I don't know who's telling her that we're not doing any work at all. It's not like we're doing subpar work. It's like we're not sending them any candidates, and it's super strange. And then she also mentioned that we're not seeing any engineering roles, but then we're not working engineering roles because frankly, the past 2 times that we did engineering for them, their CTO would never get back to us with feedback, yay or nay. And then that would just make our candidates just stuck in limbo. They keep following up with us. We don't have anything to say to them. And then it just continues where we just end up losing the candidates from different competing companies and offers. And the candidates just don't have good experience. This happened twice already. And I communicate this with them because I'm all about making sure and preserving candidates have a really good experience regardless, whether or not they have a job. And it just makes no sense to, first of all, put in that work to reach out to engineers, which are, first of all, really tough to begin with, and then send them to a company who's not gonna even give them feedback. Like, it's just not a win-win, and it's not the best use of really anyone's time. So I told them I'm more than happy to re-engage some engineers if they're open to talking to me again, if we revise the process, and the CTO, would be able to kind of show more in good faith that he's willing to be responsive with feedback in a timely manner. Like, that's all I ask for. So I don't know why the CTO is telling the founder, like, we're not doing any work. We're not working engineers at all. So I don't know what's happening. I know that their internal recruiter just got laid off at this company. And so really no one is doing any internal recruiting. I think we are one of the main partners for them. And I think because of that, they feel a lot of pressure, maybe from investors. They want to maybe hit their internal growth metrics, but they have to understand that number one, like we're not part of their team, we're a partner. And number two, we don't do all positions. We only do targeted select ones that we know that we can deliver on. So anyway, that was the backstory. I was able to also sync up with another point of contact who is actually, funny enough, I think the CFO or the finance manager, but who's really spearheading recruiting. Don't know why. Before it was the recruiter, but because she got, laid off, now I'm talking to this other person, and basically I communicated my frustrations with her, like what is going on, because I also heard that you told the founder that I'm not doing a good job, and I thought we were able to kind of clear the air, and she was able to, mention to me that she's going to go back to the founder and just, share with her that we are doing a good job and we're not working all positions, and she would hate for everything to get pulled. And so I think it was a good discussion for us to be on the same page. I felt positive coming out of it. And then right before I went to bed last night, like literally at 11:30 p.m., I get an email from the founder saying, "Hey Preston, this is to reconfirm that we're canceling our agreement this month. So please don't send us any invoices beyond the 30th. Peace." And that is like the worst email that you can get from any client before you go to bed, because it's just gonna ruin your sleep. But number two, look, I'm just shocked that this happened again, especially after what seemed to be a positive conversation with my new point of contact. Like, I don't know what's going on here. And so remember I told you, like, this is like the second time that it happened. And I have a history with this company. Like, we've been working with them for over a year and a half. We've done a lot of placements. We have, I thought, a good relationship, me and the founder directly. And she, throughout the relationship, said really positive things about us and like really likes how we work and the results that we bring. And then now she's like coming back to me and chopping my head off again with just no context, or maybe the wrong context. So it's just really bizarre, and that got me really frustrated. And I responded back to her saying, "Hey, can we please just chat about this? I think you owe us at least to just bear courtesy and respect to just chat about this. And I just want to know like where you think that we're coming off short." I did share with her again, like these are all the positions that we're working with, and these are all the candidates in process for all these positions. I also did reiterate, we're not doing software engineering because we had a bad experience in the past, and we're trying to sync up with the CTO next week to go over the optimized process. Like if she wants to pull the plug off ultimate day, that's fine. That's sad, that's disappointing, but she can't just do that. She has to give us 30 days in advance, because it'd be a devastating experience for all candidates that are interviewing, because like you pull the plug off, then candidates are going to stop interviewing. That's going to make them have a really bad experience. That's going to obviously give us a bad experience. And then most importantly, like it can have a possible blowback effect for my client, because then the candidates can get mad. They can go off to the sunset and just add really bad reviews or ratings online, and that's the last thing that they want to do. So I was able to respond in a very succinct email, and then she responded that, okay, fine, let's just chat on Monday. But at this point, like I'm kind of over it. I don't know how much I want to fight for this relationship to continue moving forward, and not just that, like they're always, even recently now, I think they're more and more nickel and diming our placement fee, our retainer fee, and they're asking us to do more and more. So they're paying us less, they're asking more and more compared to all the other companies that we're doing, and they're willing to completely overlook the history that we have together and just chop my head off with no reason, and for multiple times. So if you were me and you made it this far in the video, first of all, thank you, but like what would you do? Would you just walk away, or would you just fight to maintain this relationship? I'm at a crossroads. Like I've done a lot of placements with them. They've been a great client last year, and we thought we were gonna set ourselves up for a great long-term relationship with them, and there's no reason why a relationship should end negatively. But like the behavior that I've seen so far is like extremely unprofessional. It just comes out of nowhere, even if there's confusion, not willing to kind of listen to us. And she kind of acts like we work for her on our team, like on her team, and we don't. We're not part of her company. We are partner who's choosing to agree to assist her with the recruiting practices, and there has to be mutual respect and common decency there. If not, we have every right to walk away from her. And we've agreed, for a short term to kind of lower our fee significantly compared to other companies. So we're, we're obviously not getting paid competitive. We still have to be incentivized to work as hard as if our fee and retainer fee was competitive. And then she's just asking for us to do like all these positions for the company. And then we're just getting a lot of negative feedback that we're not doing enough good job. If you were me, what would you do? Please comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. But a part of me has been kind of ticked off. I do whatever I can typically to save a relationship or to preserve it. But I think at least I want to communicate clearly to her and just understand exactly like what's happening. We'll see. I mean, I'm always open-minded. I'm always hopeful that something positive can come out of it. But who knows? But that's my Friday rant of the day. It's been I'm just getting started here, but it's just not a great way to end an evening and not a great way to start a brand new Friday here. But we still have a good amount of candidates to talk to. We're gonna do sourcing back to software engineers. One of my clean tech companies has referred me to another colleague in the company who wants to talk to me about other engineering roles. I'm excited, but a little bit kind of cautious because it's not software engineers. I think they really want me to go deep on this thermal, whatever, hydraulics, mechanical engineers, which is something that I don't work at all. So I will happily take the client intake call, but cautiously, because it's not our specialty and I want to make sure that we don't waste our time. And then we have about 4 interviews today, which is great. And then yeah, it's gonna be a good solid Friday. To also give you an update, we tried our best to save our software engineer who got rejected yesterday. I chatted with the head of recruiter, and honestly, like, they were as surprised as we were about this whole situation. Like, this was supposed to be a done deal. And I also just got an email from the software engineer candidate like only minutes ago, and he apologized to me and he's like, I learned my lesson not to be too opinionated in the recruiting process. And while that's a good lesson learned, I mean, I thought it would be, for most people, common sense not to use really, really strong words like exploitative and unethical and things like that when you're trying to find a new job. Like, these are very triggering. These are very, strong, assertive words. And I think people should voice their opinion. Everyone should. Everyone should have that right and freedom to express their opinion. But it's really key to be mindful of the words and tone and delivery. You can still always express the same thing, but in a nicer, softer way. And I think he went a little over the handle here and kind of shot himself in the foot. So not happy again, just another not good news this week. I thought that we were at least going to celebrate this week with a very substantial software engineering role. And just goes to show that even, when you have candidates in the offer stage or the reference stages, anything can happen. And so you never, ever, ever want to be too complacent. You never want to be too relaxed, because you always have to be ready that if something happens, we can do our best to handle it. But in this case, it was just so far off that no matter what I say, no matter how much I fight for the candidate, like, just left a really bad taste in my client's mouth, and there's not much more I can do here. So what I can do to resalvage this is I'm going to try to see if we can find other jobs for this candidate. Like, he is an amazing engineer, works at top tier tech companies, his background's in Golang. He prefers to be in and around New York. So if you're watching this and you have really great clients for him, reach out to me, and it'd be great to kind of see what we can do here. So when something happens, you always have to just pivot and be like, what is the best course of action now? What is the plan B? And just not dwell on the past, not dwell on mistakes, not dwell on non-ideal situations, and see how we can kind of keep this thing going and maintain a strong relationship with the candidate and hopefully find him a better job. So still really sad about the whole thing, but we'll see what happens. So far, 3 interviews happened. I haven't heard back from any candidates. We've got 2 more later today. Overall, really ending this week with a good number of interviews. I love coming into the week with like literally no interviews planned, ending the week with tons of interviews planned. And that's one of the beauties of recruiting. Like, we create something out of nothing. Like, you literally create your own destiny, how busy you can be every day and every week. And if you just be consistent, do the right things, then you can pack your week. And I just love that feeling. It always makes me feel a little bit uneasy coming into a week with like no calls or nothing happening. That means your business is super slow. So yeah, just gotta keep on going. We'll see what happens. All right, happy Friday afternoon, and it's that time to wrap up this video. If you made it this far, I really, really thank you. for watching and spending a couple minutes of your day. And I just hope that you really enjoyed this, learned a couple things. My really inspiration behind showing these videos is to be as transparent as possible and showing what life is like behind the doors as a recruiter in any industry. And I think while it could be a little bit different in terms of different types of markets and sectors, on the whole, we all do the same thing. And so really appreciate it. And if you're a recruiter, if you're a talent professional, you're working for yourself, you have a lot of great talent, you have a lot of hard to fill roles, and you always want to find ways to partner. I think that's fantastic. And I think us recruiters should focus on collaborating, partnering more, less on competing with each other, so that overall we can just be more of a win-win situation and just help more companies, help more people find their dream talent and dream rockstar as much as possible. So feel free to reach out to me. I love meeting you, whether you're here in the US or different parts of the country, whether you're in tech or not. I will do whatever I can and want to do whatever I can to kind of help you out so we can all together elevate recruiting together. Talk to a lot of great candidates across the country. We are re-engaging in full force back with a thermal kind of clean tech energy client who's kind of bringing us deeper into the world of chemical and reactor and thermal engineering. So if you're watching this and you have a background in these areas, or you might know of anyone else who has a background in these areas, please reach out, because we'd love to have your help as much as possible. And while I'm not an advocate for accepting any role, the only reason why I'm considering these is because we have a better understanding, because we worked with these particular markets last year, but it's with a really good client who's asking us to do a massive solid for them. So if you know of anyone, might know of anyone, again, please reach out. But either way, I honestly hope that you enjoy this video, and I really hope that May is going really well for you, and that you're hitting all your goals, you're accomplishing all your wildest dreams. And if you like this and want to see more like these videos, honestly, please continue to like, subscribe, share these videos, get the word out. Let's show everyone how great of a career recruiting can be, and just all elevate recruiting together. I think there's a lot of chatter with recessions and market going into recessions, and I think yes, some industries will be harder than others. I think in tech, I'm grateful to say that while we are seeing a lot of companies go through adjustments with layoffs and pausing their interviews, a lot of companies still are just going bang-busters and just going really aggressive in terms of hiring even more. So again, I think if recession gets really bad, it's going to affect all of us. So just make sure that if you're working for yourself, you have a small team, that you be as lean as possible, you be smart for the future. Anything can happen. Moving forward, just be cautious. And while having offers is great, getting offers ripped away from you, getting rejected, it also hurts as well. But like that comes with recruiting, that comes with really any business. We're just not all highs, we're just not all making money or hitting our goals every single day. It is as important to be mentally strong, to be resilient, to be persistent, and just to have grit and to keep on going. And that's something that I've honestly done and hold myself to do every single day, every single week for the past 7-8 years. And I think that if you can be consistent, consistency is everything, regardless of what industry role you have right now or what job you have right now. Just be consistent, just show up. When you don't want to, just show up anyway, do the best that you can every single day. And I promise you, if you do it right and you don't take unnecessary, reckless shortcuts, you will not only build strong relationships over time, but your business, your line of work will start to compound and snowball into levels that you never would have experienced. So don't give up on yourself, stay consistent, and also be positive, enjoy the journey. It is also fun too. And I think one of the biggest perks of recruiting is that we get to meet just honestly awesome people. And a lot of the candidates and clients I've worked with over the years have become really great friends. And I think that's just an amazing added benefit. And there's no better time to be a recruiter, as companies need more help than ever. So if you have any questions, please drop down below. Feel free to follow me at Preston_Park. Feel free to also follow us on our free Discord channel. This is not focused around me. It's like a nice, safe space that I want to create for other like-minded individuals and recruiters around the world, where you can just help each other out, ask questions in a non-judgmental and critical space. And it's really great to kind of see that organically growing as well. So really great. Huge thumbs up if you're already part of it as well. But again, it's been one heck of a week. It's been a lot of massive punches to my gut, but I feeling optimistic, feeling happy, as you must, and just got to use the weekend to recharge and shake off your frustrations and hopefully come back stronger and better next week. So thanks again for everyone who's reached out so far, regardless of the Week in Life videos or other videos or even on Instagram. Really means a lot and just honestly gives us the fire and the focus to keep on going. So wishing you all a great Friday. Hope you had a great week. Have a great weekend. See you on the next week.